that states that if somebody folds 1,000 paper cranes, they will receive one wish, such as a long life. As an origami enthusiast, I'm currently working on getting my one wish of a long life by folding my 1,000 cranes. Today I will be talking about the history of origami, the basic concepts, and some basic folds, so you can start folding your 1,000 cranes. Historians aren't sure where origami originated, but depending on who you ask, some might say that it originated in China because that's where paper was invented in 105 AD. According to Encarta Online Encyclopedia, in origami of 2008, Buddhist monks introduced paper and probably paper folding to Japan in the early 7th century. According to Joseph Wu, in A Brief History of the Ancient Art of Paper Folding of 2006, the art of paper folding was eventually brought over to Spain in the 12th century. The Spanish term for paper folding is papyroflexia, which is still a popular art in Spain and Argentina today. A pajarita is a little bird, which is one of the oldest and most well-known models in Europe today. Paper was very expensive when it was first introduced to Japan, so it was only used in formal occasions. For example, noshi was like an American bow. It was attached to a package, and it functioned as good fortune tokens. The very first paper models were abstract. They didn't really look like anything, and they were used in ceremonial purposes. Some examples are some white zigzag streamers hung inside and outside Shinto shrines to symbolize and honor the holy being. Also, origami butterflies were used in Shinto weddings to symbolize the bride and the groom. Since paper was held in such a high regard in Japan, it is the only material that is used in origami. You can cut, glue, or draw on the diagram, on the model, but it is typically avoided. You can use any size paper. Traditionally, squares are used. It is 6 by 6 inches, but you can use whatever size you want. The larger the paper, the larger the model will be. And I would recommend for beginners that you start out with some large pieces of paper. Traditionally, origami paper has a color or design on one side and then white on the other. But really, you can use whatever you have on hand, like newspaper, magazines, or wrapping paper. To fold an origami model, you need to follow some directions, which are called diagrams. I have here an example of the crane. They can be difficult to follow at times, so therefore I would recommend 3 tips to avoid frustration when folding. First, you should fold on a flat, hard surface like a table. Next, you should read all the diagrams before folding. This will give you a general idea of what steps take place when. And then when you are folding your model, make sure that you check the next step to see where you're going. This will help you to avoid getting lost. So on to the basic folds. There are 4 basic folds that you need to know to be a master in origami. The first is a valley fold, which I think is the easiest. It's just where you take a basic piece of paper and you fold it onto itself, like a book. Next is the mountain fold. It's kind of like the valley fold, a little bit different though. It's where you take the paper and you fold it backwards. The third fold is called an accordion fold. It's basically just a whole bunch of parallel, evenly spaced mountain and valley folds. Here you can see a mountain fold and then a valley fold. And then the last is a blitz fold. It's where you just take all the corners of the square and put it into the center. Now this can be a little difficult, so I would recommend that you first make 2 diagonal creases, reference creases. This will ensure that you can match the tip of the corner to the line, so then you can get a straight fold, which will result in a model that isn't off skew or something. So in conclusion, I hope that you guys have learned a little bit about origami history and hopefully you guys can master the basic concepts and basic folds so that you too one day can fold your 1,000 cranes. Thank you.